Hi everyone, welcome once again to another episode of Let's Get Soroban. For this episode, we're talking about cross-contract calls. So what is cross-contract calls? Cross-contract calls allows one smart contract to interact on that smart contract on the seller network. It enables a modular development and mutability of existing contract functionality. Cross-contract, also known as inter-contract calls in other blockchain network, whereby a contract can be called in another contract using its interface or using its deployed address. In Soroban, in Stellar, this cross-contract is made by invoking another contract by its contract ID. Contracts to invoke can be imported into another contract with the use of the contract import file macro. Moving forward, when a contract is imported, the imported contract generates a contract client type that can be used to invoke functions on the contract. What's a module? A module is a way of organizing code into logical units, and it's used to manage scope and privacy in Soroban smart contracts. You can't perform a cross-contract calls on Soroban without not using a module. It is very essential. It's essentially a namespace that contains code-like functions, structs, traits, and other items. Module is private by default. When it's being defined using this way, it's private by default. If you want a module to be public, it's advisable you put a pub keyword in here. We make it to public. But if you want to be private, it's always private by default with use without pub keyword. So moving forward, I currently have two contracts in my directory, and what you need to do first of all is to cd into this contract, the first contract, this contract A. I'm already in here, and this is the contract, right? This is contract my first contract I want to call in my other contract is contract B. So what I just need to do is to build this contract. It's just using command stellar contracts build. Okay, it's already building. I'm currently contract A, right? So once I'm done building, I'll see a WASM file. You see a WASM file in here. Go in here, and this is the WASM file that we're going to import. So just come here and copy it, and then the next thing is to go to our second contract, which is contract B. So cd then cd into contract B. Now we're already in this contract here. I explained to you about module. So a module file must always be here present. So I already have this imported. You can see from this is the same contract. This WASM I copied in here in contract A. Make sure you check at the file's name. You see Soroban contract. If I paste it here, you see the same thing. WASM contract, the same thing, right? So there's something you have to take note of. This way of importing it has to be like this. Going out of the directory, your file path has to be like this. If you make a mistake and you import it just this way, you will notice that when you run stellar contract build, you see an error. Contract build in your other contract, this contract B, right? So you see, this is the error you're going to notice. You're going to notice an error saying that could not find clients in contract A because it's not well imported. But when you import it using this way, compile, you're currently importing contract A, right, using this module. Then compile it again. Compile this contract B. You see, it worked. This is it here. It compiled successfully. So make sure you're not making this mistake, because when you're making this mistake, you're going to be faced with a bug and you won't know where the bug is coming from. So Talking about this module, I explained earlier here that a module is a namespace that contains a code element like a function, struct, traits, and other items. So this is what the module is being used in our contract. Is contract B. It's being used to import the first contract into our Soroban smart contract B. So when you're using a module and using any name for it, doesn't really matter. Any name you want to use doesn't really matter. Make sure that this name tag is the same with this one in here, and we're referencing the function in contract A, which is an add function, right? So this is the add function. This is the add function of contract A we're referencing. This add function, we're going to call it in here in our contract B. So this is how it works, and you can see here that not only are we using the a module to call a function using its compiled WASM, we're also going to pass in the contract A contract address. So we will also need the contract address of this contract A to be able to call the function. The same way it works in EVM chain. Whereby in EVM chain we can have an interface of a contract, then we're also going to have the contract address of that contract, be able to access any function in it. But in Soroban, all we need to do is just to declare a module, put in the WASM code, and call the contract using the contract address. So that's how it works. With this, we'll be able to call any function in the contract. So right now, let's deploy this first contract A, and also deploy contract B, then interact both contracts in our CLI. The first thing you need to do is to make sure that you are in the right contract directories, contract directory A, and then the next thing is to use this same command, having your Stellar contract deploy, then a backtick, then a WASM flag, and this should be in here, which is the WASM hash gotten from here, as I explained earlier. And then same thing, right? A backtick, then the source Alice, a backtick, and the network should testnet. So I deploy it, and okay. So initially when I ran this command, I noticed I had some bugs, but the bug came because so I was still using the latest version. So I have to first of all update my cargo.toml file with this version, and then what I also did, I uninstalled my CLI using this command, and after I was done installing, I ended up installing again using this cargo command, which can actually be found here on the documentation. So if you notice any error, make sure you do that. So moving forward, let's deploy again. So using this same command now, using the WASM, my network source, and my network, it is going to work. Okay. Yeah, it worked. This is my transaction ID now. So I'm going to copy this one and terminal, leaving this directory, then go to this second directory B. So it's going to be cd contract B. Okay. Now let's run the same command we ran again. Then using the same command, but let's make sure that we're using the correct WASM code for it. This is the WASM code. Copy. Let's see if it's the same. Then you can see that the only difference is here, workspace contract B. So let's change this. Let's deploy this. Yeah, so it's done deploying, and this is the contract ID. So we just have to come here and copy this ID. So on invoking our contract, mainly we want to test our deployed contract, right? So we want to test this contract B. We want to call this contract, calling it using the contract address of contract A that we have in here, right? Since we imported this, I'll use the WASM code. So call the contract address, passing a variable for X, passing a variable for Y. So for that, we just need to use this command. What does this command mean? Stellar contract invoke. This is the deployed address we actually had in here for contract A, contract B. So since we're invoking contract B, we'll copy this one for contract B, and then we paste it in here. Contract B, contract address, then the source, which is my identity. If you don't know how to set an identity, you have to just watch my first video of setup. You know how to do that. The network on testnet, then using this flag, meaning that okay, this is the function we want to use now, the function we want to call, this is the function we want to call, and then this variable name is contract, argument name is contract. So the flag of contract, passing the contract ID of contract A, this is entirely the contract A, passing contract ID, then the variable, the argument name of X, then passing 5, then argument of Y, passing 7, or anything you want to pass in. So I'm clicking OK, enter. You see that this is going to work now. So why this is working, I forgot to explain to you guys about the test. Oh yeah, it worked. So this is it. 12 came out with yes, which means that yeah, it worked. A contract worked. I explained the test. This is the way you're going to work on this test is just by using this one, by using the register the WASM of contract A, then also register the contract of contract B, and then we create a client for the contract ID, call the add function, and this is how it's going to work. And when you run this using cargo test, it's going to work fine as well. So I was able to explain to you what cross contract calls means. I was able to call the first contract and the second contract B. I showed you how to pass your test. I showed you how to invoke a contract, and also I was able to help I showed you how to fix a bug whenever you see a bug here in your contract, because to be honest with you, there was a lot of bug when I was working on this, so you're definitely going to see 1 or 2 bugs, but if you follow my instruction, you're definitely going to be able to pass through this stage as well. Make sure you have the updated SDK version, because if you don't have that, you're going to see a whole lot of errors. So see you next time in our next episode of Let's Get Soroban. Bye.